Hey, Chaos. Hey, everybody that just came in. Let me welcome you in. I see just being jazzy was here. Thank you. Hey, Verbal Assassin. Thank you for coming. Let's see. And Sheed, OG Ghost. Thank you guys for coming. Hey, Leo. Long time no see. All right. So I think I said hello to everybody. And I owe Chaos. Thank you, Chaos, for introducing me to this brother. So, as it says in the title, we're going to be having a one-on-one with Mr. Let Go. Okay, so we had an interesting encounter over on Chaos Rain Show, and I decided to carry the conversation on because I found him very interesting. Hey, Sweet Melody Speaks. It's good to see you, sweetheart. I'm glad you could come. Hey, Hanlon. So, give us a few minutes. We are going to get started soon. Y'all know how I do. I'm going to give people time to get in here, so I'll play a little bit of music, okay? In the meantime, just relax. We'll start in about 2 or 3 minutes, okay? It's good to see you, sweetheart. Alrighty. Here we go. Hold on. All right, you guys, hold on. All right. Had to go get me a little something to drink. Here we go. Y'all, please welcome Mr. Lego. How you doing?
Hey, what's going on?
I'm good. Welcome to the show. I'm so happy to have you. So introduce yourself to the people, okay?
All right, I am Mr. Let Go. I am an emotional attachment coach. I help men and women let go of their dysfunctional emotional attachments. And that is the main thing I do. But of course, on social media, I use certain situations, in the media or respond to what different people say. And, I like to make fun of stuff sometimes, so I'm not always serious or whatever. But overall, yeah, I just like to have fun. And, you know, instead of just being this, because usually when people look at a coach, they expect some stuffy suit wearing person that doesn't have a personality. So, but yeah, that's what I do.
Okay, awesome. So let's talk. I'm gonna start questioning. You guys let me know. OG, I know you're hey six figure, hey third, and everybody that just walked in, Topaz, Sweet Melody Speaks. Thank you all for coming, everyone. Um, is my mic still acting up or do because it could be
Yeah, it is.
still,
Yeah, it's
and I don't
cracking.
want to freaking put this on. I hate wearing this darn thing. Let's see if this helps. Give it a second. Hold on.
What's going on, Third Ward? I can't hear nothing now. Hold on, she fixing her mic. I don't hear anything. I can't hear you at all now. Hold on. Let me see if it's me. Nope, it's not me. I can't hear nothing.
Okay.
Okay, I can hear you now. Yeah.
I don't know what else to do about it. Because I'd have to fight with that a little bit. I think I have to synchronize it. I
It
used to
actually
use it and
stopped.
I stopped. Okay,
The
good.
track can stop. Okay.
Okay, good. Welcome, Doug, and everybody that just came in. So, tell us about your start on social media. Like, which social media did you start with first, and why? Why did you decide to start doing what you're doing?
One of the it's a lot of reasons why I started, but the main reason why I started is because my oldest daughter is sick of y'all. So, and this was what 4 years ago, whatever, when she actually started being out in the workplace
Mm-hmm.
and being raised by me, and I instilled a certain mindset, a certain system, a systematic mindset in her. And then she got out in the workplace and started getting, having jobs and stuff. Well, she had a job and she was like a manager. Really her first job, she was like a manager. And she used to come home because she stayed with me at the time. And we'll just hang out, and in the kitchen or whatever, talking. And she'll just be like, Daddy, like what is wrong with these women? I'm like, what do you mean? She said, well, all they want to do is complain about men and talk about each other. Like, it's never any productive conversations. And she's just like, I, I don't understand what's going on. So we'll just have these different conversations. And I started just being on social media, and I wrote my first book. And my first book, or my only book, is called The Terrible Life of a Beautiful Woman, right?
Oh,
And as I started growing a little bit on social media because of being an author or whatever. I started speaking in different places, and I was just a motivational speaker person, right?
mm-hmm.
But to me, it wasn't a lot of purpose in motivation, right? I don't really care about this motivation stuff, like you can do it. It's just whatever. It's just, and I never wanted to be that pandering person that just sits around lying to people in order to entertain them. So as
Oh,
time went by, I started seeing that there's an actual problem in our communities because the things that my daughter was telling me, I was seeing and I've been seeing. But when I'm like, yo, okay, my daughter sees the same stuff that I see, that means this is multi-generational. Like, because she was like probably 20 and she's around 30, 40 year olds. So
mm-hmm.
these people that she was complaining about was people 10 years older than her, 20 years older than her. She
Yes.
was she was still a kid. And for her to be aware of what was going on and for her to be complaining about it, I was like, I need to do something about it. And she was like, and she literally one time we was at IHOP. So I started just changing what I do. Instead of motivation, it was helping, right?
Okay.
And then I sat down with my daughter one time, who's in IHOP, and she said, Daddy, it's time for you to hold these women accountable. I'm sick of this mess. And I said, okay. So I actually took like 2 years. I didn't go to college or nothing like that to study neurology, but I started studying neurology because I literally wanted to know why women act the way they do and why men act the way they do, why white people act the way they do, why black people act the way they do. So I started really getting deep into neurology, human behavior, epigenetics, and a lot of cellular stuff instead of just personality and psychology. So I
Mm-hmm.
actually have somewhat of a background non-college of biology and not psychology, because to me, from what I've learned in biology, everything psychological is biological. So that's how I started.
I've got at least 10 questions, but what we're gonna
Okay.
have to do is take people back. So you say, right, your daughter is at least 20 years old. You raised her. I want to go back to your history, and no shade or anything like that, but as newbies to you, we want to know what makes you qualified to I won't say what makes you qualified to write a book, because anybody can write a book, but why should we be taking your advice? Like, what was your experience raising your daughter? Let us know about that. For people who don't know you, are you
Well,
married? Were you married? How long did you raise your daughter?
okay, yeah, I was married, raised both of my kids. I got two daughters in a married household, and we end up getting divorced. But overall, you don't have to listen to me, and it's no shade or nothing like that. But one of the things that kind of like is annoying in the Black community, men and women, they always want to be like, so what makes you somebody you should listen to? You don't have to listen to me. Go listen to somebody else, because you listen to TV, you listen to the news, you listen to your friends, you listen to so many different people in your life, whether it's friends, co-workers, family members, and where has it gotten you? In most cases, nowhere. So the problem is, the second somebody comes on social media that actually has something to say, has some points. Like I said, I didn't go to college for it, but just like I have a coaching group, and I tell the ladies in my coaching group, it's an all women coaching group, I know nothing. I always said, I know nothing. Do not look at me as the guru or the know-it-all. Nope. I'm somebody that has a lot of like experiences. Like, I've been married, I raised kids. My kids are grown. The experience of like, fathering grown women. I have a lot of experiences, but overall, the self-schooling I've had is, to a certain degree, important to all of us, because I did it for I didn't just leave high school and say, I'm gonna look for a job. Let me just go take some classes. No, I did the self-schooling I did in order to specifically help my people. So whether you should listen to me, listen to somebody else, makes no difference to me. But I'm not the type of person who's going to look at you like, well, you need to listen to me. I even tell the ladies in my coaching group, you can listen to whoever you want to listen to, because I believe in bringing up books, bringing up experts, because I'm not the expert.
So
That's just my way of answering. Why should we listen to you? You don't have to.
The reason I'm asking you this is, okay, so for me, it's not all about, I hope this computer does not die. It's not charging for some reason. It's not all about book study, but it is about experience. So
Yes.
you was married and you had two children, or you were married and you had two children. How did that marriage, and like basically what experience did you have that led you to feel like you have good advice for both men and women that they should be taking?
Well, the life experiences, along with the 72 books I read having to do with human behavior and neurology, because there's a certain I help people specifically with emotional attachment issues, because I've learned that to a certain degree, whoever we are, male, female, white, black, tall, short, fat, skinny, we all have a certain level of issues, and they stem from our childhood. If a person is egotistical, most likely it came somewhere from their childhood. And some of these things, some of our attributes are positive. I remember Michael Jordan. Part of his story was he used to shoot baskets out in the front yard at night in the rain. And his parents could have easily been like, get your butt in the house. What is wrong with you? It's raining. It's dark. Somebody can get you. No, they gave him his autonomy and allowed him to go out and shoot baskets at night. And he was probably 9. So some of these attributes that we have are not negative, they're positive. But most of the attributes we have emotionally come from our childhood and how our parents interacted with us.
Okay,
And that is where attachment style actually comes from.
I'm gonna bring it back
Mhm.
to, you said your daughter said to you, hold these women accountable. So when they buy that book, The Troubled Life of a Beautiful Woman, what are they reading about? What are you talking about? What's the advice that you're giving?
The Terrible Life of a Beautiful Woman. That book isn't about psychology or anything. That is just simply my life story, along with some tips from somebody that has been married, somebody who has, grown kids, my life as a young man, what I actually went through, because it was a point where me and my mom were actually homeless. And I literally watched my mom ruin our lives and depend on the government to help clean it back up, to be honest with you, you know. But on the same token, my mom was one of the most loving, compassionate, emotionally available individuals I've ever seen in my life. My mom was there for me every minute of my childhood. So it
I
was
gotta
two sides. Hold on.
I gotta ask you a question, and I wanted to ask you another one before this, but I just gotta stop you right there when you said you watched your mother ruin your life by asking for help. Because most people, when they
No,
ask for help, they
no,
feel
no,
that
no,
they
no, 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 no. She we left Philadelphia, which was an amazing thing to do. All right. Just in a car. We just got in the car and just left. Right. But the reason why I say I watched her ruin our lives is because we almost died. We were like homeless, like literally homeless. And the reason why, because a lot of these things I learned, I just simply spent my young life just paying attention to my environment. We left Philadelphia and
Mhm.
moved with my aunt, right? And I used to, living there, my aunt used to be talking about how my mom's back, talking about like, why don't she just get a job? Like she's been here all this time. She said she was gonna get a job. She ain't even left the house. Like she ain't got no application. Like, what is she doing? Then she wants to hang out. Like, why don't you get a job? And I didn't feel like I was like 5, so I couldn't say something like, Ma, you need to get a job. You know what I'm saying?
Can I
So
ask you this?
hold
Well,
on,
go ahead.
hold on, you
Okay.
gotta let me finish. So I'm listening to the beginning of what's about to happen. As a kid, I don't know. I'm just trying to stay out of grown folks' business. But according to my aunt, she was like, I'm sick of her because she won't get no job. And there was a point where she'll confront my mom, like, hey, I need you to get a job. And my mom would be like, yeah, I got you. And won't do nothing. Me and my mom was like this. So when you're a kid, when your mom moves, you move. When your mom go here, you're a kid, right? So I knew my mom's every move. She never left the house without me or with me to go find a job, right? So we ended up getting put out. And at this point, the car we drove to Atlanta with broke down. We literally were out on the street, and we had to live. And all this is in my book, Terrible Life of a Beautiful Woman, on Amazon. But we ended up going to the Alamo Hotel, which is to this day, the worst motel in the entire city of Atlanta, probably the second most. Lived there around drug addicts, drug dealers, and pimps. And as a child, I literally had to figure out a way to protect us. And I actually learned how to do that as a child. I'm 5 years old.
When you're ready, I want to ask my next question because I have a
Okay.
lot of
Yeah.
questions and we only have an hour. But my
Okay.
question was,
Okay. Go ahead.
what you said before, that you
Mhm.
felt that you watched your mother ruin your life, but you were close to your
No,
mother.
no, 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 no. Ruin our lives as a child. Because she didn't ruin
Okay.
my
So
life. She
where was
ruined
your
our
father?
lives when I was little.
Where was your father at? Did you ever blame him? Where
What do
was
you
he?
mean? blame him?
Well, did
I
he
didn't
ruin
blame my
your life?
mom. What is this blame stuff? What do you mean blame?
Well, you said the words, you watched your mother ruin y'all's life. So I'm saying, where was your father at?
My father was back in Philadelphia, and he was a loser and barely had a job himself.
Right. So children oftentimes blame the parent that actually is
There's
there
no blame.
struggling.
Can we not say the word blame?
Okay,
Because
we don't have to say the
this
word
is
blame.
this is my life.
Okay.
This is not about. See, women love to say somebody's blaming somebody or it's somebody's fault. This is not about anybody blaming anybody. You asked me because I was talking about neurology, and you specifically asked me, how did you grow up? Where, you know what I'm saying? You wanted to know my past. So I'm talking about my past, and it was mainly me and my mom. My dad was way over here.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're like, you blame your mom. This is my life. I'm not blaming. So can we just not use the word blaming or fault? Because nobody is blaming anybody. This is just a conversation, and I'm just letting you know my life. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense, and I won't use any words that you're sensitive to. But
Well, it's not about
question
sensitive. It's
you're kind of
non-contextual.
sensitive.
No,
You're
no, no.
sensitive.
Whoa. It's not sensitive. It's non-contextual. Okay.
Okay.
Because this is not about blame. You ask somebody about their life and they tell you about their life, they're not blaming people. They're just telling you about their lives. So it's non-contextual. Okay.
When you say the words, I don't want to harp on it. Everybody heard what you said. You didn't mention any father. So my thing is, it seems like you're only mentioning one parent.
Because I
As
was
if,
with one parent.
right. So as if letting the other parent off the hook. So I was questioning you
Off
about
the
that.
hook of what?
Of your
Okay.
life.
Do you remember? Hold on. Do you remember when I said my mom took me and her and got in a car and just left Philly?
Right.
I'm
But you
just
had
telling
two
you my
parents.
life.
We all have two parents. I understand that. I'm not
I'm
going to.
just this is what I'm saying. I'm simply explaining my life. And
Okay.
my young life was me and my mom. My dad was around when I was in Philly. My dad, when I left, you know what I'm saying? If you got a kid's father or whatever, you got kids and you decide to move to Texas, and now your kid's father's in Cleveland or something,
Mm-hmm.
guess what? Your child's life, they're going to be talking about you and them and their mom, not them and their dad,
Oh,
because their dad is in Cleveland.
they'll be
Does it-
talking about their dad too, how he wasn't there. They probably will be, and it wouldn't just be me because I didn't
Well,
just
part of
birth
not being
them by
there is
myself.
you and the child because you left. So in my particular story, because I'm not talking about nobody else, because everybody else has their own way of whatever. My mom took me from Philly. So it's not that my dad wasn't there. We weren't there. She left Philly,
Mm-hmm.
which was a good thing because Philly was trash. You know what I'm saying? So it was a great thing. But regardless of how you want to look at it, you can't say my dad wasn't there.
I
Me
can't.
and my mom wasn't there because we're the one that left. Because usually when people say my daddy left me, he got
Mm-hmm.
up and left. We got up and left.
Mm-hmm. So, as someone who's traveled the world, there's such a thing as foot, car, bicycle, plane, train. There's ways to see your children if you want to. I'm not trying to make this a bashing session, but right now you're giving a whole lot of excuses for a very simple question.
How am I giving excuses?
You're just saying that your mother took you away, and so that's why your father couldn't be in your life. That's pretty much what you just said. I'm not putting any words in your mouth.
No. You, for some reason, you're trying to make it look like I'm blaming my mother for something, and then you're like, "Why don't you put the blame on your dad?" And I'm trying to pull it away from that because there's no blame on anybody.
Okay.
I just spent 2 minutes pulling you away from the whole blame game, so it's not this dad versus mom stuff. I'm just simply, articulating my life, and my life included my mom and me, and in this particular juncture of my life, and my aunt before she put us out. Are you blaming my aunt for putting us out? You didn't say nothing about
I
her.
didn't blame anybody for anything. I don't know your life.
Neither did I. So that's what I'm saying. Let's like not just do this blame stuff. Because
Okay.
my aunt literally was warranted for that. Who the hell wants somebody living in their house ain't paying no bills? Get your ass out. You know what I'm saying? So I haven't seen my aunt since, you know what I'm saying? But if I was to see my aunt, I high five her. Yeah, get us out of there. Because at the end of the day, this is about establishing boundaries. So some things that I learned by hearing my aunt complain about my mom and actually acting upon how she was feeling. You know what I mean? Because a lot of men and women, they'll sit around and complain, oh, he's not doing this, she's not doing this, but they'll stay and they'll put up with it. My aunt did not want to put up with that mess, and she was like, get out. And I commend my aunt, even though it was to our detriment to a certain degree. I commend my aunt for having enough balls by saying, get out. You don't want to get no job, get out. And this is what I seen as a child. I was like, okay, so that means me growing up, I ain't never gonna go live with nobody and not get no job because they're gonna put my ass out. See, my observation is it's not about blaming nobody. It's about what can I learn from all of this? You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so my main question now, because I am going to allow the people time to come and talk to you themselves, men and women. I want you to tell them what your main message is when people come to you for coaching. Because I even told you, we will get to that before you leave. I will say this about this brother. He has a poppin' Instagram. He has a very poppin' YouTube channel. He's grown very quickly. This is his second time at it. I'm going to let him tell you a little bit more about that. But most of us are small YouTubers and we could all learn, from someone else. Okay, so what is your message now? What are you trying to tell people when they come to you? What should they expect to hear? Okay, yes.
Well, if a man comes to me, this is what usually happens, okay? Somebody will book a one-on-one with me, male or female. And the beginning of the conversation is going to be about what the opposite sex did to them, right? And I'll let them talk. I'll listen to their situation, listen to their story. And I would say, and this is not everybody, but it's typical. Minutes or whatever, I'll stop for a second and say, okay, is there anything behind how you feel about this particular person? Because like I said before, with everything I've learned and studied non-college is it's not about what's in front of you. It's about what's behind you, which is your childhood trauma, your childhood issues, your viewpoint of the world. So if you didn't have any childhood trauma and your life was perfect, you're still going to view the world in a certain kind of way. And if you grow up with a perfect life, right, a heavenly life, your viewpoint on the world is going to be, why isn't the rest of the world heavenly and perfect like mine? Like, what is wrong with these people? Get away from me, right? So that particular person may not be able to operate in the world efficiently because their lives were so perfect. So even if you grew up with no trauma, that can actually be traumatizing due to the contrast of the rest of the world being traumatized and you not being traumatized. You get in the world, traumatized people gonna be like, and then you're gonna be like, yo, what is wrong with these people? And you're gonna be running around like, you're gonna run back home like, these people are crazy. No, son or no daughter, they're just traumatized people. And now you got to figure out what this means. So even if you weren't traumatized, you're going to go out in the world of trauma. So regardless of who you are as a male or a female, your viewpoint on the world and what you went through before you even started dating the opposite sex has a huge bearing on how you operate in the world. So when somebody comes to me, we have a conversation because I'm not a therapist. I'm not a psychologist, so I don't go too deep in people's psyches or whatever. But we're going to have a conversation about your childhood. You know what I mean? How did your mom, raise you? How did your dad raise you? Like, if there was trauma, what do you think it is? Just a conversation. You know what I'm saying? And then within an hour, in a lot of cases, that particular person would have divulged enough information and received enough of their own talking about their lives where they're just like, wow, So it wasn't my kid's mom that's the problem. So it wasn't the dude that's the problem. So it was my dad or it was my mom. It was how I was raised. It was the way I see the opposite sex. And now they're just like, wow. Because what we do as men and women, we just run around blaming the opposite sex that what they did to us. But what are we doing to other people? What are we doing to ourselves? You know, the way we think, a lot of times we're doing something to ourselves. We are lying to ourselves. We're projecting something to other people, and they're just responding to us. And then we get mad at how they responded to us. But it's us doing something. But simply because of our ego, male and female, white, black, whatever, we don't see us doing something to the rest of the world. We see the rest of the world doing something to us. And I call that, well, I'm sorry, I don't call that. It's a specific thing called internal locus of control and external locus of control. So I help people delve into their own understanding of themselves, where they now have an internal locus of control instead of an external locus of control, thinking that the world or men or women are against them. No, you're usually against yourself.
Okay, so I want to talk about what you said about studying neurology of Black women and different people. I'm very curious.
Yeah, it's just the brain.
Well, did you find anything that would be interesting to us about that? Are there any differences? I'm really curious about this one.
As far as men and women?
Well, you said you studied them in all types of people, white, Black, women.
No, it's just the brain, the human brain. You know, it's just, yeah.
I mean, other than the way we think, we problem solve differently. Anything else?
Overall, the way a woman's brain is wired and a man's brain is wired is different. Men operate off of one hemisphere of our brain at a time, which means we compartmentalize. Just like if your man came home and he ain't even did nothing, but if you ask him, "Hey, what did you do?" He's gonna be like, he ain't trying to come up with no lie, but we compartmentalize, which means whatever we just did, it goes into a compartment. And when you ask us, we have to go back and get it. But the way women operate, they think across both hemispheres. So it's logical, emotional, logical, emotional, logical, emotional, logical, emotional, right? So sometimes a woman be logical, and then at the same time, in the next 5 seconds, she's emotional and she's mixing because her way the female brain is wired is off of both hemispheres. And one of the reasons for that is because biological, we are put on this earth for two different reasons. Women are put on this earth in order to mother, nurture, protect their young. And men are put on this world in order to protect their families and not necessarily empathize, but fight, protect, and, produce. So we're the producers and women are the nurturers of what we produce. So a lot of a woman's neurons are, imagine this water, right? And the water is full. A woman's Fiji water would have this amount of nurturance of children, neurons for nurturings of children. Our Fiji water would be full of water and nothing else, right? So a certain part of your brain is meant to raise children, want children, love children, protect children. And our brain is specifically for production, protection, and provision.
So when I met you over on Chaos, and shout out to Chaos because he made all this happen, you made some statements about your position far as being a proponent of marriage. The people who are in here know that I'm a proponent of marriage, but you said something very interesting. You said that you believe that pretty much unless a woman is married, she's not. And I don't want to put words in your mouth. Do you want to finish that? And now you're telling us also, if I get this correct, now you're telling us also that it's very generalized. You're saying that all women are meant to be nurturers and like it's kind of cookie cutter. Is that what you're trying to tell me? You don't think there's anything that's a little bit against the grain, that some women might be producers? Do you think there's ever
Okay.
a gray area?
Well, everything comes from what? Everything about us as humans comes from what first?
What you mean? I'm not sure what the
Our
question
childhood.
is.
Childhood. Our
Oh,
childhood. That's what I said
okay.
earlier, right? So there's something called nature versus nurture. Okay. So in our nature as men and women, our brains are wired a particular way. You're a mom and I'm a warrior, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what has happened, that's our nature. But what has happened is nurture has gotten in the way of our nature. So in a Black community in particular, and this is why I'm against single motherhood and I'm for marriage. When you are raised by only one person, whether it's a male or female, nurture gets in the way of nature because overall, no one person can raise a child efficiently. It takes two children. I mean, it takes two parents to raise a child. You know, it's a like for as an example, nature versus nurture. I seen a video of a girl, a mom playing with her daughter in the swimming pool, right? And she showed how she teaches her daughter how to swim. She keeps her close to her and she's just doing this. She ain't even doing nothing else. She's just doing this. She's not bringing her underwater. And it's just a clip. So I don't know what all she did, but from the clip, because it's supposed to be a funny clip, like how daddy does it and how mommy does it, right? She's
Uh-huh.
just steady doing like this, right? The baby is smiling, right? And then they show the daddy doing it. The daddy got her like this,
I think
put
I
her,
saw that. I saw
putting her
that.
in the water. They even changed the music. So the baby is like, you know what I'm saying? And then he has the baby in the water again, and then the baby's like, oh, so it looks like the baby is going through all kinds of hell with the daddy, but having a great time with the mom, right? And this is nature versus nurture. As a baby, you don't want to be dunked in any water. So the baby's like, yo, dad, what are you doing? Well, the nurture from the dad is meant to invoke a certain amount of risk. Like if this ever happens to you, this is how you operate to deal with it, right? Mom is like, I don't want anything to happen to you, so I'm not going to risk anything with you. So women, nature versus nurture, women in particular, all women, oh, most women are, the nature of them is risk avoidant. Women don't want to risk nothing. They just want to be in their little bubble and be protected and, just be safe, right? Boys, men, we go out in the world, we go to war, we take over countries, we fight, we produce, we put our hands in holes and we don't know what's in it. We operate in a world of discovery and risk, right? So when the dad had the baby, he's showing the child that, hey, is more to life than this. No, because if I drop you, you got to go in this water. So I'm going to put you in this water and take you out just so you can get an understanding of if you do get submerged in water, you'll understand how important it is to learn how to swim. So that is an example of nature versus nurture. Our parents, male and female, are it's like two sides of the coin, heads and tails, right? So now a child grows up with a good understanding of the beautiful nature. I mean, the nurturing, the closeness, the I'll love you, the I'll protect you, all that stuff. But then you got supposed to, but we don't got it. We supposed to, but we don't. The dad who's gonna take you out in the back, y'all gonna hunt, y'all gonna fish, y'all gonna put your dukes up, you're gonna shoot guns, you're gonna run, you're gonna race, you're gonna challenge each other. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna fail. That's the key. We're gonna fail. You're gonna cry, and your dad is gonna be like, "It's okay, just try again." Those are the nurture things that a lot of us as Black people never get. We go out in this world, and now we looking crazy because, just like I said before, a lot of people blame the opposite sex. They blame the white man. They blame their job because there's no nurturance of risk, no nurturance of failure. There's no nurturance of that. So now you just out here whining and complaining, men and women, whining, oh, what's going on? I don't understand. Why is this happening to me? Because most of us didn't have no daddy to dunk us in the water to put us in a position like, whoa. So we grown going, whoa, finally getting dunked in the water instead of being a 1-year-old. Mm-hmm. So that is the importance of a father. So when you look out in the world with just the world of single mothers, right? Just single mothers, it's nothing but risk avoidant men. And then at the same time, you actually teach your daughters how to risk, but you teach your sons how to not risk. So that's one of the issues that I've seen from just, human behavior standpoint. We have a nature side. Men do what they do, women do what they do. But the nurture side has literally screwed us up, where you got men afraid to grow, afraid to go out and produce. And you have women who are actually trying to produce and growing and stuff. And is inverted. And it's due to the single mother epidemic.
Okay, so I'm going to give my opinion on it because I do like to keep this almost like a conversation back and forth. I saw that video, and it's funny. We saw the same video and took two completely different things from it. I saw it in the humorous video, and I saw that showing just how different. It's similar. We're kind of agreeing, but we're disagreeing.
But you see how our brains are wired differently because we see something different?
Right. But the baby was having fun with the dad. Mom was a little bit more serious because she was a little bit more careful. But my thing is, the issue that I have with a lot of your viewpoints, quite frankly, is that you are very black and white and not very gray at all. It's either this way or that way. There's no in between. And I think, in my experience, I've been here 42 years, and my experience is the world doesn't really work that way. It's not quite that simple. Hey, number one grinder, I am going to drop the link because I want you guys to have a chance to ask him questions, because that's why he's here. He's here for
and we can stay a little longer than an hour. Yeah.
Okay, good. I appreciate that. I thought I'd scared you out of here because I was about ready to chop off your head.
Why?
Because I just...
We got to be open to different perspectives without wanting to chop the person's head off. You know what I'm saying? What's wrong with that? What about what's wrong with the openness of, just having conversations with people that have a different perspective? I never wanted to chop off somebody's head for their perspective. Why? Well, because they're them.
I'm a bit of a hothead.
Why?
But I'm trying to take it all in. You got to realize too, I don't know, a lot of people that might not know you, I won't say it's the first time I've ever, the whole single, I'm going to be honest, I'm sick and tired. This is my viewpoint on it, and somebody else come out. Also, I only want one at a time if you guys don't mind. So try to keep your kind of conversations kind of short, because I want to give everybody a chance to ask him questions. But basically, it's played out. At the end of the day, it takes two people. And that's what I was alluding to earlier, that it's not just, but children being children, they don't always recognize the parent that's not in the house. They just recognize the one that's in their viewpoint. But it takes two. And so this whole blaming one person as if another person never existed is just old and played out.
Who's doing that?
Y'all hit the link if you got any questions.
What do you mean? This whole blaming like one person didn't exist? What do you mean?
This is what happens in these spaces when you start talking about single motherhood. So I'm talking about
Well,
this topic.
I want you to think about this. If that woman would have gotten married, she wouldn't have been a single mother. So she did that to herself. No woman has ever been tricked into single motherhood unless it was a situation by force, and the R word. But we're not going to talk about that, of course. But so the rest of these women who just run around like, oh, I'm a single mother, about no, you wasn't. You chose to lay down and have unprotected sex with this dude that most likely don't even want you, don't want to be with you, told you he don't want to be with you, showed you 30 signs that he don't want to be with you, and you let him blank inside of you anyway. And now you got a baby, and now you mad at the man. You gotta be mad at yourself. And just like I said, hold on, let me say this. Just like I said, in my one-on-ones, I focus on a man being mad at himself and focusing on himself, and I focus on a woman looking at herself. So it's not me saying, woman, be mad at yourself. There's a whole bunch of whiny dudes out here like, yo, man, she trying to put me on child support. Man, she just, well, you don't want blanked in a woman, so that's your dumb ass. So I say the same thing to a man and to a woman.
Okay, so
that's your dumb ass. Go ahead.
So I'm going to welcome my brother, Chef Disaster. I'm actually, when the people come up, I'm going to hop down. So you guys talk, ask your questions.
What's up, brother?
Hey, what's going on, Mr. Let It Go?
What's that?
Good evening. I'm cooling. Could you remind me? Could you tell me the title of your book again?
The Terrible Life of a Beautiful Woman.
Oh, okay, that's what's up. And that was based on your mom, you said?
Yeah, my observation of my own life and my mom and everything going on around us.
All right. And you said it was a unique experience for you, as a child, basically on your upbringing and the decisions that your mom's made that impacted your life, correct?
Be honest with you now, same old Tupac stuff. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't that unique. Same old Tupac mess. Grew up in the hood, daddy was around. Same old Tupac crap. You know what I mean?
Yeah. When I say unique, unique to the norm, unique to the normal situation that we expect to have as children.
No. Growing up with a single mother, being on in the hood, on public assistance, on welfare, that's normal. That is not unique. Sadly, that's super normal. Folks there are 5-year-olds, 10-year-olds, 15-year-olds right now growing up the same way I grew up. Single mom, government assistance, living in the hood. Life is trash.
So you would say that that's normal to a certain group of people, not people as a whole. You're just typically pointing out maybe one race of people, maybe.
Black people and white people. Black people.
So you would say majority of white. So you're saying majority of white people live that way as well?
No, majority of black people live that way.
Right, that's what I was saying. So
white people don't live that way, but white people do live that way. But it's not the majority. It's the majority of black people. It's not the majority of white people. But white people do live that way too. But they live. Right. One of the differences is, real quick, is white people live in trailer parks. Not all, you know what I'm saying? And the difference between projects and trailer parks, they love to say trailer trash and all this stuff. They own those trailers. So even though they're poor, even though all this goofy stuff is going on in these trailer parks, the nasty uncle stuff that is going on in these trailer parks that we all hear, at least there's a certain amount of ownership of the trailer versus us having zero ownership. We run around claiming blocks. Mom don't own nothing. Grandma don't own nothing. Don't nobody own nothing. At least the poor white people have ownership of the trailer. You feel me?
Right. So all right. So your book would be based on a black experience then, a single mom black experience.
My experience.
Right. And you also said that you gave this the TikTok story, and it made me wonder. I'm not a study of neurology or nothing like that, but it made me want. It got me to thinking that your experience wasn't the experience of having a dad in your life. You said your dad wasn't in your life, so I wanted to know when did you get the experience of having, you know, a whole family? Like, at what age did you have that? Because you said you grew up around pimps and hustlers and
Wait,
stuff like
wait.
that. So
So,
that was the example of the male in your life, according to you.
no, the example of the male in my life was my dad. I never said I didn't grow up without a dad. My dad was around. He was just on the phone, and he'll fly me out to Philly a few times or whatever. And just like I talked about earlier, how our life actually is formed between the age of 1 and 7. And I didn't live with my dad, but I seen my dad more than I seen my mom in between the age of 1 and 5. So I remember my dad, he wasn't military, but he was militant. And that's where I get my mindset from. So yeah, I never said that I didn't have my dad. My dad used to have an afro. My dad used to comb my hair all hard. He used to tell me, stop breathing out your mouth and breathe out your nose. He used to tell me, stick my chest out. He used to have me running, and I'm like 4 or 3 years old, and he got me running towards the the Liberty Bell in Philly. I remember seeing it. I'm sitting there crying my eyes out because I'm tired. I'm about to throw up because I'm running behind this grown man and he ain't even letting up. So no, my dad really gave me a lot of military, non-military thought processes where yeah. So to this day, my brain got formed first from my dad. And then my mom leaving Philly was a beautiful thing because it taught me that if I don't like an environment, leave it. No questions
Right.
asked, leave. Don't sit
So,
around whining. My mom didn't whine. My mom didn't sit around. I don't like Philly. Nope. She just got in the car, no, only some gas money, and drove from Philly to freaking, well, we moved to Syracuse, moved to Virginia, we moved to different places or whatever. So it wasn't straight from Philly to Atlanta, but we moved from Philly to Syracuse, New York. And then that was a learning process because of all that snow and how cold it was, because my mom actually went to school in Syracuse. So no, my brain from a neurological standpoint was specifically formed by my dad first.
all right. So, another question I want to ask you, since you gave us a little more insight on your dad, how much of your dad's experience made it into your book about your mom's experience and your mom's experience together with you?
It's a bit. I don't want to talk about the book because y'all can buy the book, but overall, it's in the book. I've talked about my dad in the book.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Um, and then when you said you know, dunking the child in the water, it's a way to show the child that they have to start to take life a little bit serious.
Facts.
Um, at at a point, at a point in life, do you see your moms as being the one doing the dunking and letting you know life was
Nope.
more serious than it had to be since your dad wasn't,
Nope.
assuming that role anymore?
Nope. It was her failures, and I had to live within her failure. So us being poor, us being in the hood, me growing up fighting because I got a Philly accent, so I talk like everybody. Used to get in all kinds of fights, and I was confused on why the hell am I getting in fights? Like, because I don't hear my accent. I don't sound like an alien to me. So I'm like, why y'all just mad at me? Like, what the hell is wrong with y'all? You know, so a lot of the dunking in the water was from my mom's mistakes. We living in the hood or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Living with people. We lived in a family shelter or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Because we was homeless, trying to figure out how to figure it out. So that was the dunking of the water, but it wasn't my mom dunking me. It was just me experiencing almost drowning because my mom was next to me almost drowning.
Okay, that's what's up. Um, you didn't. You, so when you got I don't know. You don't have to get personal if you don't want to. I was just wanting to know at what age did you start up a family?
I got out of the hood as a child. I'm like, this
Hmm.
hood shit is stupid. Like, all this shit's stupid. All of it is stupid. Teachers stupid. Parents, everybody. I don't want to be like none of y'all niggas. This shit is stupid. All of it. So I left the hood at the age of 17. And me and a girl, we moved in together, whatever. And it didn't work out. Moved back with my mom. And I'm like, okay, now I know what leaving the hood looks like. So now I want to leave the hood, Because we didn't leave the hood. We just moved into some apartments. Find out, when you're a kid, you don't know what the hood is. You look at the hood as the projects, right? But it's the hood when you live in some apartments that just a whole bunch of poor people live in. They're just not projects. You paying rent. So I'm like, okay, I want to leave the hood though. So the second time I left was when I was like 18 and 19. And yeah, that was my ex-wife. And I took her straight from her mom and we moved to the suburbs. And we had kids. And because I said, I'm going to raise my kids out of the hood in the suburbs. So my kids were raised in a big ass house through their whole lives, mostly.
All
I
right.
was a child
So
because I was a drug dealer. My homeboys was drug dealers. Me and my two best friends, we all had houses, all on three different sides of the of the city. And yeah, we were good. So I had a car, rims, speakers in the back, 12s, all that shit when I was a child, when I was 13. So, but I didn't sell dope because I wanted to look cool. I wanted to look cool a little bit, but I sold dope to get the hell out of this stupid ass hood. So that's what I did. And I changed everything I learned from selling drugs and all that stuff and started finding me a job because selling drugs was stupid.
okay, that's what's up. Just this one's not a question. This one's a final conclusion for the interview. I would just say that your mom maybe or may not have, depending on what you feel your success has been, had a great impact on your life. I think her
Oh
making
yeah.
that decision to move definitely greatly impacted you and helped you
Yes.
be a better decision maker.
Yes.
Keep doing what you're doing, and it was a great conversation. I salute you,
Thank you, brother. I
no
appreciate
doubt.
you.
Thank you so much. I'm gonna let OG. Thank you so much, Chef. That's Chef Disaster, y'all. OG Speed up here. Welcome, OG. You got it. You got it.
What's up, brother?
I'm doing fine. All praises to Allah. How you doing?
I'm great. I'm great.
And it's good to hear a refreshing voice on how you take associations and what words and you get your message out. And it's just refreshing to hear that. And that takes a lot of experience and a lot of wisdom through you, what you came through to understand it. I used to use a similar approach one time, and then I used to post it a lot. It was talking about if you have a mother and father in the front room and the child is trying to take their first walk, the first initial thing the woman wants to do when that child falls is to go get it. And I used
Mm-hmm.
to hold my wife back and say, no, don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I believe that when that child gets up and then takes that first step, that fall have taught that child balance of life.
Yes.
And that's the approach I used to use when that. So it's refreshing to see another young man come along and put it in a square and put it in a box in a circle, whatever you want to call it, and make people understand. And these are hard conversations that have, because men and women are at war now, especially in our community.
Yes.
And so you go get it from both sides. And that tells you a lot. When you get it from both sides, it tells you you are somewhere in the pinpoint of the problem. And so I just wanted to come up and congratulate you, and maybe all your endeavors of life, that you can keep on pushing this message out, because I consider us as like a car engine. We don't know if the injectors is more important than the battery or the spark
Yes.
plugs.
Yes.
It takes all of it to make it work. And I think
Right.
when people want to shut you down just because they don't believe in your theory or your thesis or what you're trying to relay to people, that we have this counsel generation that want to counsel everybody out. So I hope you can keep your voice going. You got to be proud of your daughter to bring you informations. And so keep on doing what you're doing, my brother.
Thank you so much. Yeah, they canceled me one time. They took down my whole Instagram channel, Instagram page, and I had to start all the way over from scratch. And I'm totally okay with doing that. I'll do it again.
Yes, sir. You have a beautiful and amazing day.
All right. Thank you, brother. What's up, brother?
Salute, brother. Mr. Let Go. How you
Aaron,
doing, man?
Aaron.
Oh, I'm good, man.
Oh, I think Mahogany was trying to say something.
Oh, I don't know what happened. Yeah.
Oh, I was just saying welcome and thank you for
Oh.
coming.
Oh, you're welcome. Okay. Yeah, man, I just want to congratulate you on what you did, and you know, not many brothers are writing books. You're actually a breath of fresh air. And not that I have anything against brothers being athletes or rappers, but for someone to write a book about their life experiences, that means a lot.
Yeah.
You said something today, literally, that I actually just said today myself, that how a lot of these guys talking about they owning blocks, but at least the white people own their own trailers. And I'm like, man, that resonated so much, because I was literally saying today how these guys talking about they own the hood, they running blocks. Okay, what the city right now can go in there and say we gonna bulldoze this whole block. Matter of fact, they're doing it right now with gentrification. So the hood is no longer the hood no more.
Exactly.
And it's not that I got a problem with it. I mean, it'd be nice to see little kids be able to go outside and play again. But I like how you put that. And yeah, the hood don't even belong to you.
Yeah, because what's crazy is if somebody came in the trailer park saying we about to take this thing over, depending on what type of trailer it is, you can go get your little red pickup truck and hook it to your trailer and get the hell up out of there, because you bought that trailer and it's yours.
Yep.
Feel me?
And I feel it loud and clear. Like you said something like, I live in LA, and when you said that, it immediately made me think about how there's some parts of LA I have walked around, and there you got a bunch of people, you got like people lined up with motorhomes. They're not trailers, but motorhomes, same thing. And they all have their own little spot, but these people are technically, well, they got their own house, and they can drive it wherever they want to drive it with no problems. And it's like, okay, when we do something, you can act as hard and tough as you want and call yourself whatever kind of thug, this and little that, whatever. But when it came down to it,
you own nothing.
You got nothing. Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. So it's just a bunch of idiots running around just being idiots. You know what I'm saying? You know.
Yeah, I like your no nonsense approach. You're very direct and you don't sugarcoat. I can tell that right off the muscle. But you just straight to the point. You don't bullshit. You're not going to tell people what they want to hear. You're not going to the most popular answer.
Right.
And which makes your book I'm sure it's going to be a more interesting read. But that's fine with me, because I like to read about real stuff. I mean, I'm originally from the South Side of Chicago, so believe me, Philadelphia, Chicago, Atlanta. To me, the hood is the hood. I mean, well, maybe I should say the black community is the black community. So, yeah. Once again, though, congrats to you, bro. And and like Ghost just said, yeah, you need to get this out to everybody. Let them know that black men are doing more than just being thugs and assholes or whatever. So,
yeah, I appreciate you, bro. I really appreciate that. I appreciate that.
respect.
All right. Well, thank you, Aaron. I hope I didn't knock you off. I guess he jumped off. Thank everybody for coming up and talking to him, Chef OG Aaron. I thought I'd have at least one woman besides myself come up here to talk to you, especially about
the women don't want to come up.
Mother thing, huh?
The women don't want to come up.
You done skate? I don't know. Topaz is pretty strong, but maybe she just don't feel like it tonight. Hey Bruce, it's good to see you. I will say, I will tell you this. I'm gonna tell you something. I heard people. Are you okay with people calling you Aaron, or do you want us to call you Mr.
Oh no, it's Aaron. Yeah.
Aaron, I will say this. Since all of my people, like I was reading in the comments, they all seem to really like you. I'm new to you, but I am open-minded, and I'm definitely. Oh, so we can wait on Topaz. She said, "Give her a second, she'll come up." You know? Do you know her? She's very nice. You'll like her.
I think so.
Yes, she is. She's got her own channel, but she's also a part of For the Record TV. So, yeah, awesome sister. These people in here are pretty cool. They're all YouTubers. Since we got a little time until she comes up, did you want to talk about the growth there or the success in your channel? Do you have any tips for all these new small I won't say struggle, trying to grow YouTubers? I'll talk about myself.
One, I would say for everybody on here to follow me on Instagram. I am _ Mr. Let Go. That's the best way to like reach out to me. So that's the first thing. And just as far as advice on growth, you have to stand for something, because there's a lot of people, they may suffer from what is it called? Imposter syndrome. Where this guy will try to act like another guy, or this woman will try to act like this woman, or they'll take this person's talking points, or they'll use this person's colors, or do this and do that, or whatever. And it just ends up being a sea of people trying to look or act or sound like another person. And that particular person doesn't necessarily grow. And they're like, yo, why am I not growing? This other person's growing. You know what I mean? So I always focused on just being myself, didn't give a shit about what nobody thinks. And I'm going to say what I say, do what I do. And who likes it, awesome. If they don't, I don't give a shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's just always been me. And shout out to my oldest daughter for like putting the extra battery in my back, because I had one battery and she put the other battery on my back, and she said, "Daddy," and she beat on the table like, "You got to hold these women accountable." And I was like, "Yes, ma'am." So I'm backed by my kids.
That's awesome. I'm gonna let
go ahead.
We're gonna get to that hold women accountable, but I'm gonna let Topaz do.
Okay. Hey, Mahogany, thanks for letting me up. Hello, Mr. Let Go. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay. I just kind of pop up on panels. I have been doing content, but I haven't been doing it recently because I also am trying to finish 2 books that I've outlined already, and my practice is taking off. So I am a mental health therapist by trade.
Awesome.
So I'm ethically bound to tell you that the imposter syndrome is not what you described. That is a thing, what you described, but imposter syndrome is where the person is doubting their abilities, like they're naturally good at something, and they feel like that they're not actually deserving of the accolades and pressures. But what you described, that is a very common problem that we do see. And I can't remember the word for it off top of my head right now, but I do think it's worth talking about, because people
Mhm.
need to feel confident in their individuality.
Right, right. Yeah. So, I may have used the term wrong, but overall, it's something that
Well, I just
I
wanted to
see.
let you know in case you run across anybody else and then they say,
Right.
I would feel bad if I didn't say something and I just kind of,
Yeah,
watched
I
you do it.
appreciate that because we're all here to learn from each other, right? So I do appreciate that.
Okay, no problem. So, okay, I have a question, right? And
Mhm.
this, hopefully, you'll understand that this is because of who I've seen talking and the things that I've said. So, my question to you is, right? There are a lot of people who believe that you can only counsel your gender. So, how do you feel comfortable counseling and giving consultations and everything, advice to women? How do you overcome that? Because I do want to tell you
Overcome
my
it.
point of view, because yeah, and I want to tell you my point of view because I personally feel like it is a way to overcome it. I could give advice, I could provide therapy for men. So I personally believe it's possible. So I just want to hear you say how you overcame it.
Well, to me, it's no overcoming. I've been doing this for 4 years now, and at the end of the day, for anybody who thinks a man can't help a woman or a woman can't help a man, that person is stupid. Because at the end of the day, if I call the police and two female police officers come in here and they got their guns, I'm like, help me.
Mhm.
If I go to the doctor and if it was a woman, I'm not going to say, yo, get out of here. I need a man. No, let's go. Like, fix my
Right,
spleen or whatever, operate on me or whatever. If I
right.
go to get my car fixed and I look through the window and there's a woman working on my car, I'm not going to say, what is she doing here? You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, um, those people who think only one sex can help the other sex, those people are idiots because at the end of the day, virtually everywhere we go, there are men and women
Right.
who do the same job. You know what I mean? So it's about who you're comfortable with. Like when it comes to a therapist, right? You don't say,
Mhm.
I want a man therapist because women don't know what they talk about. No, you want a man therapist because you feel like you can relate with them. Or I want a woman therapist because I feel like I want a woman's point of view. It's an emotional
Right.
thing. It's not a who can do something better. It's who you're comfortable with. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I do.
overall, as
And
a
I
man, it's important for women because I seriously think single mothers have taught women not to trust men. And now these women that were raised by single mothers are now grown and they're looking at men or a man like, oh, what is he doing? He can't say this to, because they learned all this dumb stuff from their single mother. And her mom had a single mother, and they don't know what the heck they're talking about. It's just a whole bunch of, most black families are literally full of women. So most women, regardless of age, don't know nothing about no man. So why not have a man coach you and finally get a understanding of men and how they think? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so I do believe that they're like, so first of all, everybody has their abilities, their strong points, right? Everybody has their weaknesses. So I just want to let you know that you are in a space right now where there are people who feel like you should only, basically the way it gets described, and what I normally have a problem with is the fact that all society should be segregated by gender and then you only come out to copulate. I don't understand that.
And
That's
those people
weird.
are stupid.
Right. Okay. So just understand you have to defend that. Okay. And I was never here. All right. But so now let me also say this. What you described right there, see, that's the importance of healing, because single motherism per se doesn't do what you just said. Bitter and unhealed single mothers do that because they feel like it's better
Um,
safe than sorry. They feel like, oh, well, if a man hurt me, then that means all men are bad. But once you get past that, you understand and you go out and you bring in that male voice for your children to have, either by family, either by, working things out and co-parenting with the dad. So, like the reason why I'm making that
let's go
distinction,
neurological though. Can we?
huh?
Let's
Can
go
neurological,
neurological,
okay.
biological. Can
Okay,
we?
so yeah, we can, but before you do that, let me just say this. The reason why is because I do believe in the power of healing. And you can say, yeah, I messed up. I had a kid that I shouldn't have at the time, that I shouldn't have, or with a person I shouldn't have. But then now you need to stop whining and figure out a way to make this kid be able to have the balance that is designed to have. So I feel like the whiny ones are sitting around complaining about men, but the healed ones are going out there and making sure that they are fixing this for their children. But yes, so
Okay.
let's go ahead and do
Yeah.
neurological.
So let's go biological. The human brain. When you're a child and you only have one parent, the baby does not know that there's only one parent or should be two parents, right? But what
Right.
ends up happening in almost every, not all, but almost every, that one particular person does not have the physical, emotional, financial, or spiritual wherewithal to give that child the amount of love, appreciation, coddling, I mean cuddling, not coddling,
Mm-hmm.
that child needs, because when it's only one person, male or female, they got to go to work. And if they go to work, they got to drop you off at somebody else's house. Now you're around somebody else. As a child,
Yeah,
you
because
don't know what
basically
the
one of those
hell,
things is going to be
hold
lost.
on. As a child, you don't know what the hell is going on. Like you're around mom, and now you ain't around mom no more. But if there was a mom and a dad, you're around mom, then you're around dad. You're around mom, you're around dad. So like, oh, okay, so this other person that I don't know, because I know mom because I was in her belly, but this other person is equally as important to me. Okay, so I got these two people that are balancing me out. Okay, but when it's a single parent, mom or dad, because single fathers traumatize their children also. There's a lack because there's not enough time in a day for that person to work, produce, and nurture the child. So that is, no matter who the person is, you cannot, it can happen, but overall, every child deserves two parents, two loving parents. So that's my whole point. And the reason why I say single moms is because over 80% of us are and were raised by women. And that's a problem because there's something called uh, cognitive bias. You end up just being biased towards one sex because you're that sex. If a father raises a girl, she's going to be like a tomboy because she's learning the cognitive bias of a man being a man, and there's no nurturing, there's no loving, yeah, I love you, the same thing with the child being in the pool with the parents, you know what I'm saying? So being raised by a single anybody is traumatic, is all I'm saying, because we want our daddy or we want our mommy. You feel me?
Yes, and I get that. And so here's what I'm illuminating, right? Is because my whole point for how to combat that is to, like you said, right? The person that, well, you're born with your temperament, and then your environment shapes your personality in your
Yes.
early years. So if you only have one parent, of course you're going to
You're
have that
biased
bias
in some
towards
type of
that
way.
gender,
Mm-hmm.
right? So what I'm telling people is that, first of all, we got to start when the woman is pregnant. Okay, talking to
Yes.
her, making sure
What
she's healed.
before the woman is pregnant?
Well, okay, yeah, exact. Well, that's number one. Okay, that's ideal. But in the situation that we have as of today, we can only talk to them, about this happening right now. It's coming now in 9 months.
Wait, there's a lot of young women. There's a lot of 30-some-year-old women. They ain't had no kids yet. You know what I'm saying? We can get to them if we focus on getting them married before they get pregnant. You know what I'm saying? We can get to them.
Okay. Yeah, and so let me ask you this. Okay, so because when I talk to people about marrying before you carry, right? The goal of that as a movement is not for you to just rush to the aisle because you're ready to knock something down, but for you to get to know this person and believe that this is a person that you can build a life with. You need to be walking down this aisle believing that it can last to the end, not just marrying somebody so you can have your kids, because it's a lot of people that do shit for selfish reasons. So
Mhm.
I kind of want us to add more detail to the whole marry before you carry, because it's not just getting the piece of paper. It's making sure that you feel like you have enough in common with this person that you can raise kids that ain't going to be confused and pulled in two different directions. The worst thing I've ever had to deal with in my office was two parents who had nothing in common when it came to child rearing, and they decided that they wanted to get married because it was the right thing to do. No,
Mhm.
that's not how that works. Okay. But that's a long story. So, my point for all of this, right, is that I want to talk to people like when they're about to have the baby at the very latest about what it like. You're going to need the balance. Value the balance. Okay. You may not like this person for a spouse or a significant other, but at least value the balance in the child's life. And now, in terms of what the child is seeing, the way our society has been set up recently, in the past, you could have like where you have a married couple and one stays home with the kids and the other one goes to work and produces. Nowadays, because everybody wants to do technology, because everything costs more, people are not willing to just forego some luxuries while the kids are in preschool age and somebody stay home. So that you have parents of kids who are married and both people are working by the time the kid is 6 months.
Well, let me
So,
say something about that.
okay.
Um, Me and my ex-wife, we raised our kids, and we used to drop. I remember my youngest daughter off at a family member's house, right?
Right.
And she used to cry her eyes out, right?
Mhm.
I go to my ex-wife and was like, yo, we got to do something about this. She said, yeah, you're right. And we found a person that actually had a house where um, she had, she had
She
a
had a
daycare.
home-based
She
daycare
has an
in the house.
accredited home daycare, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was the most beautiful thing that I ever seen when I was young, because like we was trying to figure it out because we had to work, just like you said, right? But
Right.
Miss Bertha, my youngest daughter still remembers Miss Bertha to this day. Miss Bertha was a part of the family. So it was mom, dad, sister, Miss Bertha, mom, dad, sister, Miss Bertha, mom, dad,
Right.
sister, Miss Bertha. And it was a family still. And but if it was just her by herself, it wouldn't have been no Miss Bertha, because we had to sit down and strategize on finding a Miss Bertha. And we had to come to an agreement on Miss Bertha. And, because we didn't know her in the beginning, you know what I'm saying? And we made it work, but we made it work as a couple. So when it's a single father, single mom, it's no Miss Bertha. It's a, yo, I don't know what's wrong with this kid, but you just gonna have to shut up. We gotta figure out something because I gotta go to work. But
Well, see, and that's what I'm saying. For
when
single
it's
parents,
two
it should
people,
be.
that's what I'm saying. So with us, we raised our children to have a family atmosphere even when we at work. One family member was trash to our kids. Our kids didn't like her, so we didn't like her. And we listened to our children instead of being like, look,
Yep.
you just gonna deal with it. You just nope. Our kids always had a say so in us bringing them up. You got a problem with something? Let's talk about it. Always, to this day, and when they were kids. You crying about something, it was times that my daughter might be like, I want my daddy. They'll call me and say, hey, she says she wants you. I will leave home. I will leave work early and go pick one of my kids up. They had full say so. What y'all want? You know what I'm saying? So
So can I just say that
go
that's
ahead.
a good thing, because now I do also do contracts with CPS. I also do contracts with, pediatricians. Like, we have a lot of kids that are getting abused because the parents feel like kids shouldn't have a voice. So it's not that they tell their kids to take abuse, but they tell their kids that you shouldn't speak until you're spoken to. And so I
Which is
personally am
wrong.
of the belief, huh?
Which is wrong. My kids can
Exactly,
speak
because
whenever they want to.
Well, and here's the thing is because you get to know the personality of your kids, and then now you have a teenager that you know
Yes.
what they're capable of. It's certain
Mhm.
things that if somebody told me my kids did, I would know that my kids don't think like that. That's not what they do. I'm sorry. Come with something more believable. And I want to hear from my kids because it could be something that's easily fixed, like they don't understand it because they're a child and they need explanation, or it could be
Mhm.
something that's truly going on, and I want to hear about it. And my
Yeah.
kids knew that I had their back. Nobody, if they didn't understand something, a direction, or they felt uncomfortable doing something because they don't feel like I would ever tell them to do it, they called me. Okay.
Mm.
And their dad was the same way. I mean, after I talked to him about it, because that's the whole point I wanted to ask you. There
Mhm.
are a lot of men that feel like, no, kids don't supposed to talk. So do you ever talk
Don't
to
marry the
parents?
person and don't have kids by that
Hmm?
person. That's what I'm
Well,
saying. That don't marry or have children by that person, and you good.
right, but do you ever get men who are parents in your consultations that you talk to about the benefits of listening to your children? You don't have to do what they say do. You don't have
Yeah.
to act on everything your kids say, but you do need to know that this is what's rolling around in their mind.
Yeah. I have a there's a book that me and the ladies in my coaching group just got done going over called Conscious Parenting. And what's
Yeah.
crazy, because me and the ladies in my coaching group, we go over book after book after book. If somebody joins my coaching group, first they're gonna get sent 4 books. And
Nice.
those aren't the only 4 books. We're just going over 2 books right now, but we just went over 5 books before they joined the group. So one of the books is Conscious Parenting. And what's dope is a lot of these authors, they're bringing up something that we learn from one of the other books. So
Hmm.
our minds are blown. We're just like, wait, wasn't this in the other book? Wait, they just said this and that. So yeah, it's really dope. You know what I'm saying? Like, I learned from, not physically because I don't know the guy, but I learned from Dr. Bruce Lipton in 2 of the books that we're going over. I believe Conscious Parenting brought up Dr. Bruce Lipton. But it's crazy, and I'm like, wow, like it's so awesome. So once you
Right.
become a part of a community of learners, you start seeing, and just like I said about confirmation, confirmation bias, and things like that. Not confirmation bias, just certain biases. You'll learn a positive bias when it comes to parenting, when it comes to a lot of these different things. So if anybody was to watch all my videos and actually go read a book, they'll hear a lot of what I talk about in the book because I learned it from the book. Because I always tell people, I know nothing. I'm not the guru. I just read a shitload of books.
Well, and you're pointing them into the direction where they can get more knowledge and understanding if
Right,
need be.
right.
But I do want to finish this just so that nobody gets the wrong idea. So parents aren't always telling their kids that they got to take abuse. Does that happen? Sure, but that's very rare. What normally happens is they just teach the child that your voice isn't appreciated. And so then the kid stops speaking out and now your kid is being hurt and they don't feel the need to tell you. So they get that message. So it's not always about what you tell your children specifically verbally. Sometimes they pick up the message because they learn more through what they see than learn, because the vocabulary takes time to develop. So
Mhm.
you can't talk to a 2-year-old.
95% of communication is nonverbal.
Absolutely. I was getting there. Okay. I was getting
Okay.
there. Just. So, and the last thing I know, listen, I am very loquacious. Okay. And I'm going to get off here before I take up any more time in case somebody else wants to talk. But I did want to tell you though, that even though you don't have like a degree or a license right now, I think that you should take the proceeds from this book and these consultations and eventually get one because it's going to open up more doors. You're already doing it. I will
I'm
tell
working
you
on that
before I
now.
found, huh?
I'm working on that now. Cognitive,
Okay.
behavioral, um, uh, something. But yeah,
Okay, see,
I'm
you're
taking
going to need to
something right
know
now.
what you're studying. All
Yeah,
right.
it's called
But the reason
CBT.
why,
I forgot what the T stand for, but
CBT,
cognitive
okay,
behavioral
cognitive
training
behavioral therapy,
therapy.
but
That's it.
that's not okay, so here's what I mean. That's not an actual license, that's a technique. and a theory, a theoretical orientation. So what I'm telling you is get the actual letters behind your name, because it'll open up more doors for you to be able to do this, and then you'll be able to build from more sources. I will tell you that before I found my career, I was already talking to people, giving advice. There were people in my life who wouldn't make a move until they talked to me. It's a lot. And now people got to pay me for it, and they can build their insurance. So I just always feel like if there is a way for you to monetize something even more, do so. So I did want to. You seem like you have an actual interest in the field, but right now you're doing auxiliary when you could be part of the actual, the nucleus of it too. So don't limit yourself. Don't cut that part off.
Understandable. Totally understandable. Let me just say this, this little Tabitha person, she's like, I would have loved to address this man, but I'm at an event. These are people, this is from a neurological standpoint, or psychological standpoint. This little person wants to be heard so bad, you can just hear it in her words. She just wants to be heard. So Tabitha, I just want you to know that you're heard. You know what I'm saying? Say hey to Tabitha real quick.
No, we know Tabitha. Tabitha is our resident rebel rouser. Okay, she will get a party jumped off. So
yeah, she wants to be heard so badly. She just all in these comments, just typing her little fingers away, and I feel bad for Tabitha. But
Tabitha's having a ball over here.
But this is what we're here for. We're here to, help people like Tabitha. You know what I'm saying? It's just like these little childlike people, they just want to be heard so bad. You know what I mean? But we love you, Tabitha.
We do love Tabitha. We know what Tabitha giving in the chat.
Her
we
inner
know that
child is just like screaming. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
Tabitha is not afraid of confrontation, but she's busy. Otherwise, she would talk to you.
No, if she wasn't at an event, she would have popped up here already. Mahogany would be shooing me off, playing me off the stage.
Probably with the masculine energy, unlike y'all, you know what I'm saying? Probably like, let me tell you, you know what I'm saying?
Wait a minute, Mr. Let Go, because so what you saying is you didn't get masculine energy from me, because I've been called that a time or two.
You? No.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. People go too far. You know what I'm saying? They go too far. I don't be listening to it, but I just, I'm petty, and I just want you to put that on record. I just want it on wax. I just do stuff. It sounds like a good idea at the time.
No, we're having a great conversation. You know what I'm saying? You have a perspective. I have a perspective. We're agreeing, disagreeing, and we're all just being adults, and there's nobody that's raising their voice. And this isn't masculine at all. This is beautiful.
See, that's what I thought. But I needed confirmation. All right. I just wanted that on wax so that I could clip that out of the stream and I could play it for all my haters. Okay. So just understand, okay, that you're gonna be making the rounds. I'm gonna make a short right now. Okay. Now, and Mahogany, I did share the stream, I think. If I didn't, I will, because I got a community tab now.
I know.
Congratulations.
I was there in the clouds. I think when you went live, I was there, and I remember you mentioning it. But thank you so much. I appreciate everybody. Lady Love just came in the building. I appreciate all of y'all.
And I'm gonna get off here because I will talk forever. Y'all be having to stop me. So I'm gonna jump down and let y'all finish the show. But this was nice. I like this. And don't be strange. Come by the channel, Mr. Let Go.
Reach out to me. My channel is Mr. Let Go, but I don't know how to communicate on YouTube. I'm still new to this YouTube stuff. So send me a DM on IM_Mr. Let Go. I would love to do something with you.
Wait, is that Instagram?
Yeah, Instagram.
Okay.
How do people contact each other on YouTube? I don't know how y'all YouTube people be doing stuff.
You just, as far as I know, you just leave a comment under their thing. But I'm gonna go on there now. Can you type it in the chat, please?
Somebody please drop his well, it's just Mr. Let Go. Mm-hmm.
Is it this up here on your name right here?
Yeah, it's IM_Mr. Let Go. Just send me a DM on Instagram.
Okay, I will. I'll do it now so I don't forget. But I'm gonna be in the clouds listening to
but do y'all see? This is an example of how people grow on different social media platforms. If you see me on TikTok, I'm gonna have my Instagram on there. You see me on Instagram, I'm still gonna have my Instagram thing on there. And even in the video, I'm gonna say repost by Mr. Let Go, just in case somebody shares my stuff, I'm going to already have repost by Mr. Let Go in there. So if I'm on YouTube, you're going to see IGIM_ Mr. Let Go. So overall, this helps you become, I forgot the word, but where you're on different platforms and people get to know you regardless of what platform you're on, because you always make sure to put your name somewhere in whatever video, you know what I'm saying? But yeah.
Okay, I just sent it.
Okay,
And
on Instagram?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I gotta say that I saw you before. You did an interview with Solo TV.
Mm.
And so that's the first time that I saw you. I had watched it. I don't necessarily make it. I don't know if you do live streams, but I always only see after, like, for the replay.
Oh yeah, I do live streams all the time. I did one yesterday, the day before yesterday. Yeah, but yeah, I did that one with Solo TV. That was when me and Tanya TKO just broke up. We was like friends, and she decided to choose a side. She has to choose the toxic woman side, and I was like, but what about us? Like, we got on the phone.
Listen,
are you
I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna just let you in on a secret. I can't do the toxic women side because I don't want to listen to that. That just seemed like real miserable, and it seemed like you trapping yourself in misery. And I'm not gonna do that. Even if somebody do hurt me, I'm gonna get up and do something that make me happy. I'm not gonna sit there thinking about the shit all the time. I just can't do it.
I was just
I know
she literally had to stop being my friend because I didn't want to trash men. I was just like, okay. And we no longer friends. But yeah, so I did that video right there. I was a little salty because I didn't understand his YouTube stuff. And I was just like, I don't know what's going on, but this is crazy. So yeah, I was a little salty when I did that video.
Yeah, no, because I didn't know. You know what? I just felt like, oh wait, what did I stumble on here? So I got my little popcorn in my wine. But then I watched some more. I watched some more of your streams. So I haven't been on here a whole lot. I am, once I get all of this stuff taken care of, because look, I'm trying to get this money before June of 2022. Okay, so once I get all this put together, okay, I will be more on here. I'll be more involved. But right now, I got to do some real life stuff.
Make sure you share some with me, Topaz.
Shout out to
you, because you was here. You was in the day one. Okay.
I just want to say this. Shout out to Tanya TKO. You know, you broke up with me. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
no, really?
Hell no.
So wait a minute. So when you say shout out after all of that, now it's just okay.
Oh man, I still got love for her. You know what I'm saying? But no, we weren't together like, you know, romantically.
No, I know. I heard you said y'all can't be friends.
You know what I'm saying? And she had to break up with me.
Yeah. No, I get
listen,
it. No, I just can't do it. I'm not gonna be able to do it. Hey, Nixon.
I'm on it. Listen, I'm on a YouTube break, but I had to come out of clouds because Aaron was up here. What's going on, brother?
What's going on, bro? I appreciate you pulling up.
Of course, Nixon already knows you. That's just lovely. Yeah, I mean, like, okay, so who else? Like, why don't you just go ahead and put a list or something so I can just go ahead and talk to him now? Because like this is ridiculous.
Yeah,
Nixon follows me around. You know, he be trying to take my friends. If he see me talking to you, now he got to come up here. You know, like, this is what El Nixon do. That's just how he moves.
Hey, listen, Mahogany's dope. Of course, you already know Topaz she's a dope woman to talk to. Always great perspectives or whatever. But I don't think a lot of people understand. Like, you know, sometimes, like, if you listen to Aaron, sometimes it's like he sounds like a realist. Like, you know, I'm a realist myself. Like, when you're in the middle of something, you don't really have time to blame. You just have time to just fix it. You have time to move forward. It's not about blaming, because the more you stay into that blame, you're not moving. So if this person's not here or this situation is there, I don't know about that. All I know is I'm here and I'm going to try to move forward regardless. And that's all you have time to do. And it can come off harsh sometimes, but it's reality. It is what it is.
But even when I got time, I ain't going to sit around blaming, because I got other stuff that's more interesting to do.
Let me ask y'all this. If your battery goes dead in your car, are you going to blame your battery? Or are you just going to go ahead and just replace the battery? You don't sit around like, oh, it's the battery. Like, this freak, I should have got this battery. This battery is trash. No, you want to do a video about the battery in your car, or you just going to get another battery? You know what I'm saying? And that's what I want to tell men and women. I want to tell
do
women.
a video, but ain't nothing gonna move until you get another battery. While you doing this video, you need to be going do a video about getting another battery.
Yeah, take your ass to
And you're supposed to
AutoZone.
get the warranty, i.e., vet people, okay, and to the best of your ability. Now here's the thing: some things are still going to happen, right? There are con artists. You can't know everything, but at least you can look yourself in the mirror and be proud and say, "I did everything that I could think to do." Okay, I think a lot of people get sad because they know in their hearts that they were being reckless.
That's the problem, and that's the thing. And they have to blame the other person in order to make them feel good about themselves, because they know in their hearts that this particular person was their choice. In order to project how they feel about themselves away from themselves, they have to blame the other person. And that's why I don't believe in blame. Any woman I've been with, she did this, she did that. She was my choice.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about. Like, listen, at the end of the day, people's hiding behind gender.
Finish curling my hair. Bye, y'all. This was nice. I'll reach out.
All right, bye, Topaz.
At the end of the day, people are hiding behind gender, but the thing is this: like, you still have to look in the mirror every day, right? You still have self-governance, self-awareness, and your own personal growth. Like, we can blame the other person all we want, but nothing is 100% that person's fault. You have power in that. It takes two.
Yep.
So you were a part of that situation. So to sit there and blame, like, we talk about the amount of homes that are broken up, and of course it's the men left. We don't know why they left. It could be for it could be for the piece of the home. It could be for the piece of the home because it's
there. She had sex with the man.
Yeah.
Got pregnant and went and got Section 8 housing. He never left.
Or it could be
decided
chaotic.
To take the government housing, which you can't have a man in the household. She left a man because she chose Uncle Sam, Joe Biden, over a man.
Well, as far as that concerned, like,
baby daddy.
Look, I work hard. I've always, in the military, I've always been 100% provider. So I don't really do locked doors. I don't sleep on the couch. I don't do the doghouse, and I don't get kicked out of the home that I pay for. I don't subscribe to none of that.
Right. But I'm just
saying?
saying, most of us Black people were made. There was no damn house. It was two people fucking, and then the girl was like, "I'm pregnant," and they had to figure it out. And she went and got a Section 8 voucher and went and got an apartment and started raising her child. He didn't leave the home. There was never a home in the first place.
Well, see, the thing I don't understand is why people are so shocked that our homes are the way they are, right? But then we mention therapy on the side, right? Well, if you have a lot of us that need therapy, right? Then you're gonna have two people, right? If we get tools, but maybe one or maybe both for our parents. But the application, if we don't get that, we just have tools we don't know how to use. So if you got two people with broken foundations, all they're gonna do is come together and build on a bigger broken foundation. So, and then we wonder why our relationships and things the way they are, the way our families the way they are. We already know that we say, look, we need therapy. So it's obvious that we're going to come together and make a mess if we don't get the healing. So that's just the thing. You got to look at it for what it is. Like, it's going to be that way until individuals get healing. Now, I can't rely on somebody to be honest with me, because number one, they may not be aware, and they may, but I have to know enough about myself, right? So that the law of vibration and attraction works for me, so that I can feel it in their presence. I can see it or hear it in their conversation, that I know enough about me to know that this is not the one. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? And I don't take 3 or 4 months to kind of let one thing go and another thing go. Next thing you know, we're in a relationship and then we're moving along. No, I stopped all that before all that. So we just gonna
and that's why I say you traumatize your children even before they're born. You traumatize your children by the goofball you are having sex with.
Yeah.
The second that goofball gets you pregnant, or you get the goofball pregnant, and you're a man and you had a baby with a goofball, or you're a woman, you had a baby with a goofball, you already traumatized your child, and you weren't even thinking about no child. The child is traumatized, and the child is still in the goofball's nutsack.
Yeah, for young men, I advocate not having more emphasis on sex, but to wait until you find somebody at least that you can see a future with, at least that you can see something from. Like, don't put a lot of.
What about getting married? Like, we got to stop.
Well, I mean, yes, get married, but let's be honest.
Let me say this. We got to stop thinking about children, period. Start thinking about marriage. You don't.
Yeah.
Like, what we got to think about putting our shoes on before we walk out the door, and putting our shoes on before we walk out. It's marriage. Everybody on social media want to talk about taking child and making What about marriage and no children? And let's just get to know each other as individuals, as a married couple, and then think about some damn children. All folks want to talk about is children and shit. Like, what about the damn other person?
I think people should, whether they're in a committed relationship, whether they choose not to get married, or, and I'm them advocating for marriage, but, I think that is better that you get to know each other first. I mean, even in the step to, getting in that relationships, a lot of people want to meet somebody and be married within 2 years. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, that's important. You have to, because at the end of the day, a woman can't waste her youth on no dude.
No, I'm not saying she shouldn't. But before you even think about that, like, as far as a real commitment, get to know yourself before you get in any commitment. And sex shouldn't be your focal point, because we know doing adult things happen. But get to know yourself before you either bring somebody into your own drama, or they bring you into their own drama, because things can happen before you even think about marriage. You can end up having kids, and all that go. But less importance on just having sex, with just to be having sex. Like, everything should need to be intentional. You know what I'm saying? Like, you should get the healing for yourself and not worry about anybody else. Get the healing for yourself, because the longest and the most important battle that you have is going to be with yourself, because it's a constantly everyday growing thing. You get to know yourself every day. So the more and more you know about yourself, everything you do becomes intentional after that, and every move will be important.
That's a fact. I agree, man. I agree.
But yeah, like I said, it's good to see you up here, man. A lot of people are trying to understand, the tone of the message, but sometimes, we have different people that speak in different tones, and some people is like, hey, we're going to cut through the BS, and it is what it is.
That's a fact. I'm cutting through the BS. No mayonnaise, no mustard. We just going straight to it, and that's it. And a lot of people want mayonnaise. I don't do mayonnaise.
Yeah, and I got the message you sent. You said you definitely on a mission, man, to stop this epidemic, man. I'm with you, though.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
I'm with you. But let me go ahead and go, man. I'm gonna go ahead and get in the store before it closes, and I'm get ready for work tomorrow. But man, it's always good to see you, man.
All right, thanks, bro.
All right, bro.
Thank you.
All right, Mahogany. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming up.
All right. Good night, guys.
Good night.
I am.
So I think I could go back and forth with you all day about the whole single mother thing. So I'm not going to do that.
It's trash.
It is trash. I'm tired of hearing about it, and I'm tired of being put on one side all the time.
Because if we can all just understand and just be real with ourselves and say this single mother shit is trash, we can actually now go to the next step. But all of us men and women just want to argue about whether single motherhood is trash or not. Let's just move, you know what I'm saying? Not you, but just all these people on TikTok and on Instagram. Like, it's trash. Now let's move on to something else. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes. I'm just
women don't want to admit that it's trash.
statement where I give my thoughts. I let you give your thoughts, and
Yeah.
and do me a favor. Normally, I don't ask you guys to do this, but I do have to let you know a little something after this live. So if you don't mind, please just look for a message from me on Instagram or something so I can reach out to you real quick before you go to bed tonight. Okay,
Okay.
so I can let you know about what I talked about.
Mhm.
But right now, I guess we could bring it to a close, and then I'll give my closing statements. I want to say thank you to everybody that came in, and you did give us some good tips. You really did.
Thank you.
You did. You and I
What?
won't say that you insulted me. I think I just have to get to know your personality a bit.
How did I insult you? What do you mean? What I say?
Well, you said that I sent you a video of mine, and you said you didn't know that was content. Well, if I sent it to you from my channel, it's content, and so it's just maybe it's our personality differences.
Yeah, I
Do
just
not
didn't know
agree
what it
with you on.
was.
I don't agree with you on a lot of things you said. I'm just gonna flat
Yeah.
out say, but
Yeah.
because my people in here seem to really like you. One thing I do
Wait,
know.
wait. Why you look like that? Like they really like you? Like they don't supposed to?
Well, because I really thought, I mean, Topaz gave you a little pushback, and I know Tabitha would have, but most of the fellas really like you. I think they're impressed with you the same reason that I am, as far as the book. They're actually writing a book, doing something, putting something
Mhm.
into action. The fact that you took care of your children, so you're not a complete. Just some people just jump up here, like you say, and they pretend to be something that they're not. You actually
Right,
have life
right.
experience,
Yeah.
but I think
My kids made me.
and I like that. I like that. So I'm gonna let you bring it to a close, then I'm gonna give my closing thoughts. You ready?
Okay. Yeah. Overall, I have a coaching group, and the community in the coaching group don't play that mess, let alone me. You know what I'm saying? So because we all operate by a system, and the system has like built them in different ways. You know what I'm saying? I've learned so much from my coaching community, and it's a beautiful thing, but it, it takes a certain type of woman to actually allow herself to be coached by a man, so I understand, I'm not ever going to have thousands of women in the group, because it's a certain mentality that has a woman saying, like, you know what, I want to learn from a man instead of a woman, because a lot of us men and women, we weren't raised to do that. We weren't raised to trust the opposite sex. So if you're open to trusting a man to potentially help you, lead you, coach you, you can easily go to my Instagram page. I am underscore Mr. Let Go, or go to mrletgo.com/join and join my group, women only. Other than that, you can do a one-on-one with me. Just go to my Instagram link in my bio, or you could buy my course. I have an emotional attachment blueprint course that will help you with your emotional attachments. So those are my services, because I'm not just some dude up here just running my mouth. I believe in solutions. I don't care about all this arguing stuff. Y'all be wanting to argue, not you, but folks. But
Yeah.
I'm about solutions. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's what I do, and that's who I am. I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, on YouTube, I'm on Clubhouse, and yeah, that's what I got.
I love it. Okay, I don't really have anything else. We have, just so you know, we have been dropping your channels and stuff throughout the stream. And then at the end, if I haven't done it, I'm going to put your Instagram and your YouTube page in the description. I might have already done it, but
Okay.
yeah, so you guys in the description box, you'll find his Instagram and his YouTube. If not, give me a few minutes and it'll be up. Okay. Oh, the
Or
mic.
you could just put my at, like you could just do at Mr. Let Go, like in
Okay.
the actual name, whatever you name this.
Okay.
Instead of just saying Mr. Let Go, put the at instead, and then put Mr. Let Go, and it'll show up, and then people can just click it'll come out in blue.
Okay, I will.
Yeah.
I'll do that. See, simple things, but I really wasn't aware.
I'm learning too. I'm learning a whole lot about YouTube. I only been on
Oh,
YouTube for a
China
year and a half.
I'm sorry, China. I wish you would love China. China says that you're cute. Thank you
Oh,
for
thank you. Thank you.
and thank Lady Love. I know she already went to bed. Um, I know he's tired. I'd hate to. China, where you been? You should have came a few minutes earlier, and you could have gave him, all the smoke or whatever you had to say.
They come to my channel. They want some smoke. I'll be going live. Most likely, sometimes tomorrow evening, I'll be going live. So if y'all come to my channel, Mr. Let Go, and with the smoke or whatever.
That's right, Mr. Let Go. Instagram everywhere, right? Instagram.
No, it's Mr. Let Go on YouTube, but everywhere else is I am _ Mr. Let Go. Because you remember my Instagram page got deleted. So
yes,
I had to do the I am part.
Okay. All right. They'll be looking you up. Look for me in a few minutes. I'm going to say, oh, she said she's going to watch the replay. Thank you for coming through. Thank you, guys. I'm going to give my little finishing thoughts. Please wait for me a little bit, please.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much. Did you have fun? Did you have a good time?
Oh, yeah. You're really dope. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
There was a moment there where I was like, okay, Tiffany. Oh. I was just afraid that I was going to lose you because I do have a bit of a temper. They all know it, but I'm really nice. But
why do you have a temper?
Because Aaron, there's so much foolishness on here.
So
it's a lot of foolishness, and it's just I can't stand foolishness.
Why?
I know you spoke to
foolishness is a part of the algorithm of the world. It's the part of the ecosystem. Like it's homeless people, it's mad, is axe murderers. It's just part of the world. Like we have to accept the world. We set boundaries with stuff. You know what I'm saying? I don't want no axe murderer hanging out with me, but drug dealers or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's part of the world. We got to accept parts of the world that we don't agree with.
Can I say some things to you? Let's see how you feel.
Okay.
I don't want to keep on repeating myself as far as the single mothers thing, but there's a few things that I disagree with. We all are pro-marriage, I think, over here. I've been married and divorced. You're not married at this moment. I'm not married. There's a lot of people in here not married at this moment.
But we're divorcees, so we're not single nothings. We're divorcees.
Things happen, and I didn't like that description of the way that things happen, and women just go and seek help and just throw the man away. That's not always the case. Sometimes the
man was never there to
Sometimes
throw away.
He was there long enough to hump her.
Meaning he wasn't there.
Huh?
Meaning he wasn't even there. Come on now. The man is virtually never there in the black community. So it's just two people having sex. It ain't no plan. It ain't no nothing. Ain't nobody living. It ain't nothing. You know what I'm saying?
But that's not everybody's story.
Most people's story. Most.
I don't 80%. See. We're from different communities, so I just don't believe that.
If you black, is most. Go ahead, though.
Now you're falling into the stereotypes, and that was my issue with you.
It's not a stereotype; it's a statistic. It's real life stuff.
That black people don't love one another. That we don't love.
Ain't nobody said nothing about love.
But listen to what I'm saying. When you say he was never there, he was never there. That's not what I see. I see people in actual relationships that just sometimes don't work out. And
people holding hands. That's not a family. Just because he kissed you. That's not a family.
No. He's more than kissing on me. He's paying bills. We've been together, but it just hasn't worked out. And I think we need to deal with it from that perspective and stop saying things like, well, he was never there. And just kind of.
The guy was literally saying, pushing the man left. That's what he was saying. Nixon was saying the man left. And I literally said the man wasn't there he didn't leave anything in particular, is what I'm saying. And most, not all, but most, it wasn't even there.
Will you please just for a split second talk to Miss China? Just first, I know you got to go. China, you got 2 minutes, okay?
2 minutes. Okay. Yeah.
And hey, Percy, it's good to see you. Yeah, my dreads have gotten longer. It's been a long time. This is one of my day ones, Mr. Percy. Um, thanks, Aaron. I mean, Mr. Let Go, you've been so nice.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
No, no problem. I saw you up there and I was like, who is this dude? And, I was intrigued.
Well, thank you. I
You're welcome.
appreciate that.
You're welcome.
So the person ain't coming. So what?
Did I not drop it? Okay, here she is. Welcome, China. You have the
Hello.
Hi, sweetie. You got the floor. Okay.
Um,
Hello.
hey, I was just listening in to what you were saying to Mahogany, right?
Hmm.
And you said that he wasn't there.
Who wasn't there?
The man. A lot of women marry men and things end up, bad. And you said because he was never there.
In most cases, the man was never there. It's just two people just having sex, and somebody get mad that the other person is pregnant. Either she gets mad or he get mad. Either he say it ain't mine, or how do I know it's mine? And she get mad and dump him, or either he's like, I don't think it's mine, or either do something about it, and and then they break up. But nobody's leaving the household because it's not a household, is what I'm saying. See, to
I,
me, it's about a family before the child comes. You know what I'm saying? A family structure. The family structure is not there. It's just a dumb dude and a dumb woman doing dumb stuff, and then they have a baby. That's not a structure. You can't build a house with that type of structure. Does that make sense?
I agree with you on you saying that he wasn't there, but to make it more balanced, I believe that the woman is not there either. Now, I'm not talking about physical. I meant
Oh,
mental.
emotionally not there. Yes.
Yes, I meant mental.
Yes.
And this is why I said because, we get with people, we have sex, we do all the physical things, but mentally we're not one, you
We're
know?
actually having sex to run from our emotions.
Right, right. And I think that part of actually having a husband is more work mentally than physical. Like with the money, with with looks and etc. and houses and cars, all
Mhm.
of that can be detained. But if he and she is not mentally there, because that's where the work comes in, then the
Mhm.
relationship will fail. Because when things come up, the you guys will not know how to overcome or trump those difficult things in a
Mhm.
relationship. Real quick, because I know you got to go. I wish I was here earlier, Mahogany. Um, I was in a relationship, my first relationship, and I felt like mentally, like I was his living sacrifice, right? I sacrificed so many things, right?
You only
And I felt
sacrifice for
like,
your husband. Just keep that in mind, and your
yeah,
children.
he was my husband.
Oh, y'all
That's
was
my
married.
yes,
Okay.
my first
Awesome.
relationship ever. I met him when I was 14. We married when I was 19, and I met him in high school. And I feel like when the hard times came, I didn't see that same,
Y'all were
sacrifice. I
married
didn't
at what age?
19.
Y'all got married at 19?
Yes, I got married because my mom didn't want me with him.
Huh?
My mother did not want me with him. She didn't want me with him, so I married him so
Okay.
she can just get off my back.
Okay. So this isn't really a marriage.
well. We had kids. We had twins. We built the business together,
Okay.
and it's kind of like how relationships you go through different stages.
Hmm.
Now we was together when I was younger, but when I became a woman, I don't think he understood that part. I really I was able to transform from being a young girl to being a grown woman and understanding him from being a young man, from being a young boy to being a grown man. I understood that part.
Let me
But
ask
I
you this:
don't
Did,
mhm.
was he raised by only his mother?
No.
He
This
had
is
his
the
dad
tricky
and his
part
wife.
to him. This is the tricky part. He had his mother and father, but his mother couldn't be there when he was a child. She wasn't there. She was working. So, um, because he's from the islands. He's from Jamaica. So she would work, but he was so very there around his father. His father had business, working family.
So he was somewhat had a single father, single parent as a father to the mother, right?
But the thing is, let's not take away from the fact that his mother was a hard worker, so she didn't just abandon him. But I do, from my
Well,
observation,
no,
believe.
just, just keep in mind, just like we've been talking about, from a neurological standpoint, he was abandoned.
Okay,
When
yeah,
you're a
I can
child,
agree. I can agree.
you don't care about nobody working. You want your mama, you want your daddy. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right,
And when they ain't there, you're abandoned.
right. I agree.
Yeah.
And this is, and we always friends. We will always be friends. And this is my thing too with him, because I understand men a little bit more than what men think.
Mhm.
I knew that he had like a, I felt like he didn't have that nurturing, nurture a mother to nurture you. And I always told him, like, when we were together, you need to see a therapist. you know, um, but when we got older and when we got into adulthood, I don't think his mental, I don't think he actually grew up. I just don't. I just think that,
Well, yeah, he was traumatized. He didn't have a mom.
yeah,
A
that's
lot
what
of
I
time.
think.
Like, yeah. But let me say this. Something that we talk about in my coaching group. For anybody who has tumultuous relationship with your mother in particular, you're never really going to get anywhere in life emotionally until you find a way to fall back in love with your mom and fall back in love with your dad. But it's mainly falling back in love with your mom, because if you don't do that, um, there's going to be a huge disparity, a huge hole, huge void in your life, and you're not going to be able to just operate in the world because of that hole in your heart. And that hole in your heart can actually cause health problems. There's two different books that said the same thing, and they actually went back to the study, and I actually went to the study and studied what the books were actually talking about. And they actually said that people, and this is not just black people, individuals who have a bad relationship, a tumultuous relationship, or abandoning type of relationship with their mother, almost always end up growing up with health problems. So that's how important it is to find a way to fall back in love with your mom and your dad from a forgiveness standpoint. If they're still alive, go hug them, spend time with them, and laugh with them. Because if you don't, it's going to affect you viscerally in some type of way, neurologically in some type of way. You ain't going to be able to get away from it. No matter how healthy you are, these are neurons in your brain that are not connecting with each other because you don't love or appreciate your mom or your dad. That is very important. This is a neurological thing. But go ahead, China.
It's really, I kind of agree with what you said, and I get where Mahogany is coming from. When Mahogany said that, you know, it may not be like that. I get what she's saying too.
It's like that.
Cause no, no, not that's not really true though. Because it is just not. And like, let me tell you something.
China,
It
China, China, China.
it's not always like that.
Look, people always want to like add sugar to their personal experience. It was like that. Okay. If this happened, that happened, or whatever happened, it's like that. You can cope with it, deal with it, but it's like that. And it's going to stay like that until whoever's watching, not y'all, because I don't know y'all personal situations, but I just want everybody to know it's like that. It's that bad. Okay. Your mom, your dad not being around, you got to sit down with a therapist. You got to deal with these things. We can't keep running. The reason why we keep running around having sex with each other, having all these damn fatherless babies, is because we're using sex to cope with the thing that we're running from, which is how we feel about our parents in some type of way. So until we fall back in love with our parents in our own way, because some of our parents ain't here no more, we're going to keep doing the same dumb, stupid stuff that we've been doing since children. And we're going to be acting like grown children, ruining our communities over and over and over again.
Okay, I'm going to let you go because I came in late, but I'm going to subscribe to your channel.
Thank you.
Because there are things I agree with, some things I don't agree with. So we'll have that discussion. But Mahogany.
Well, China, before you go, I do want him, because he's not really new to YouTube, but he's more on the other social media. So let him know about your channel. You have several channels, the Art of Submission and all that. Let him know about your channel too.
Okay. You can check out, I have 4 channels. But you can check out The Mindset of a Black Woman. That's a sexual channel for men and women to have that conversation, because I don't really hear people talking about sex, right? So men can understand women and women can understand men. And The Lion's Den. The Lion's Den is, how women view men and how we get what we want from men, how we manipulate men from a woman's point of view. Those are the 2 channels I'm mostly on: The Lion's Den and The Mindset of the Black Woman. All right.
All right. I appreciate you tapping in.
All right. I'll be probably to your next live stream. I'll find you. When I first came on, I'm like, dude, Mahogany got a porn star up there. Like, he looked like a snack.
Oh my God.
I'm like, who is this? Tall, dark, and handsome. Girl, let me go. All right, bye, y'all.
All right, bye.
Bye. Thank you for coming up. This was wonderful, and I really mean it. I'm really going to let you go. Normally, I do an ending, but I've already kind of fussed at you about disagreeing, so there's no need to do an ending. I think I'm just going to end it. Just give me a few minutes, and I'll reach out to you. Okay. You guys, thank you so much for coming through. See you guys soon with another video. Peace.
Have a good one.
You too.